Greetings, greetings. How y'all doing today? I'm a person that got into astrology and the study of astrology at a very young age. Um, and when I first started studying astrology, if you guys that have read my bio and read some of my books, you know that when I first got into astrology, I was a teenager and I got into it for two reasons. One reason was to learn more about myself as a person, to learn more about who I was. You know, I felt as though at the time that just identifying with my parents or my family members and using that to kind of, I guess, create my identity, I felt like that was flawed at the time because, like, most of us, we get our identity or who we are from our more of, I guess, our genetic makeup or our parents or our heritage and things of that nature, our neighborhood, and mainly like our environment. And at the time, I felt like that was flawed. I always felt like it was something more. So I got into studying astrology because I felt like I just needed to know more about myself. And it wasn't even just astrology. It was like studying numerology and things of that nature. But as I began to study it, I began to realize that I was excited about it, of course. And I'm not going to lie, initially I wanted to share it with people. And that goes into the second reason why I started studying astrology. So I used astrology to kind of like, I guess you could say, learn more about women. Like if I met a particular female, I would immediately read about her zodiac sign and, figure out like who she was internally so I could figure out the best way to either appeal to her or not even that. So I could figure out as to whether or not my energies were compatible with her, with this particular female. So that was the second reason why I got into astrology. But after, when time went on, I kept studying it and things of that nature, and I started to feel like everyone could benefit from astrology. I felt like this science was something for everyone, and I wanted to share it with everyone. So, I decided to kind of like use astrology almost like a religious tool, to where it was almost like you were converting people to wanting to believe in astrology and to accept astrology, like, like a doctrine. But, as I got a little bit older, I realized, and when I started studying more occult material, that really isn't outside of astrology, but the way some occult teachers teach the occult, they teach it like it's separate from astrology. Like here's astrology right here, and then here's the occult. Well, what I started to learn is that if you want to really understand the occult, or you want to understand the mysteries, you will be better off having a basic foundation in astrology before you get deeper into aspects of the occult. Like, say for instance, you want to get into ceremonial magic, or you're attracted to the Kabbalah, or you may be even into more conspiracy theories. I mean, the list goes on. All of these things, you will understand them better if you understood astrology. So I started to realize that it wasn't for everyone, because I learned about the term esoteric and the term exoteric. And I realized that you can pretty much study exoteric astrology, is what most people are into, and that could benefit people on more of a mundane level, as far as, people reading their horoscopes and trying to figure out what the astrological energies will be like for them, the upcoming month or this upcoming week or whatever the case may be. That's called exoteric astrology. Even when you get a natal reading, this is exoteric astrology. Esoteric astrology is when you know all of the natures of the planet, and you fully understand the nature of the different constellations, and you want to use this particular information to evolve more so spiritually, to become more of a spiritual being, to become more of a better person. Astrology is, you can use it to predict things, don't get me wrong, because it measures trends. That's exactly what astrology does. It measures energies. But your predictions may or may not be right, because of the fact that these are just energies, and people that are conscious of certain energies that are present, they can override certain predictions. They can override certain prophecies, and things that a lot of astrologers made, like say for instance, Nostradamus. He was an astrologer. He used astrology to predict a lot of things. But some of his predictions were true and some of them weren't. And the predictions that weren't true, this is because we became more conscious and we learned how to override certain energies. So the question was asked to me, just to kind of get to the meat of the video, because I'm going to do a few more videos after this one. I'm going to do a segment on how to use astrology from an esoteric perspective. So I put a pin on that here because I really didn't want to cover that here, and I'll stop right there. But the next series of videos will be addressing that. But on this particular episode, it was really to address the question. Question was asked to me: do I feel as though astrology should be taught in schools? And to young people, to children. Some people may call them kids, but your children aren't kids. That's a whole nother story. But should it be taught to children? And my answer to that is no. I don't feel astrology should be taught in schools. Maybe years back I felt as though it should be taught in schools, but I realized that they taught astrology in mystery schools to grown men and women that were of age, that were majors and not minors. Just like you have like minors in society, people that are considered up under the age of 18 are minors, and people who are over the age of 18 are really what's called majors. This is why when you go to school you major in something, because you're becoming an adult, so-called adult. I really don't like to use that term. You are progressing in your humanity is what it is, because the term adult means to be adulterated. And I don't want to be long-winded here, but it's like you guys need to understand certain things. And to be adulterated is to be diluted, is to mix up something that's pure and mix it, and make it unimpure, or make it toxic even. So back in the days when they taught astrology to majors, they would start teaching this after the age of 13, because in old society you were considered a major or a full-grown human or full developed human by the time you were 13. If I can get someone pregnant, or if you're a female and you can get pregnant, then shouldn't you be considered a major? Shouldn't you be considered someone that is of full mind and body? But in this society, we don't demonstrate on that type of level or whatever. I mean, in this society, you have to be 18 years old and out of your parents' house and paying your own bills and all that type of stuff. But if we begin to teach our children differently, then maybe I would say astrology is for children, but it should be taught in schools. But really, this is esoteric information. Now, if you're homeschooling your children, that's another thing. If you're homeschooling your children, I would say it would be of benefit to teach them astrology, but you would have to prepare them to learn astrology by first understanding astrology yourself and understanding their natal chart. Because if you were to teach any person astrology, you have to teach every person different. Like, say for instance, like when I take on students, every student, I look at them as different, and I use a different method to teach different particular students that I may deal with or whatever, based on their energies of their natal chart. Say for instance, they may have more earth energy. This is just broad. I mean, it's more to it than that, but they may have more earth energy or more water energy or more fire energy. So I would teach them based on the earth element and the perspective of the earth element, because I understand the earth element. Or if they have more fire energy, I would teach them based on the perspective of the fire in their chart and appeal to that particular aspect in teaching them. So you should deal with that type of subject the same way with your children. Don't get me wrong, I feel like if children understood astrology, they would thrive more in society, in the proper type of society. Of course, if they were taught at a young age, they would thrive more, because you can use astrology to teach business. You could use astrology to teach about trading and stocks and bonds and things of that nature. Astrology is a limitless science, and it's the foundation, again, for all metaphysical sciences. But no, I don't believe that it's of benefit to teach children astrology in secular society. Because for one thing, where would you find, you won't even have many teachers, because most people that understand astrology in this day and time understand it more so from a mundane. And even if you do have teachers to teach people, most people, they just want to look at it from themselves, and it's more of a selfish science right now. They just want to, learn more about themselves. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's more selfish. So no, I don't think that it would really be of benefit to teach it in schools when this was something that was sacred and that was taught only from mouth to ear. It wasn't even a lot of written knowledge as far as books on astrology, and different initiates would only learn this from mouth to ear. So no, I don't really think that it would be of benefit to teach children astrology in schools. I feel like it's too secular, just to kind of answer that question. And then another thing I want to address in this video too is that people want to know, like, do I plan on like opening up some type of a school or setting up some type of a physical establishment? And the question would, I mean, the answer, excuse me, would be no. I don't want to open up a school or set up a physical establishment, because I know my ancestors taught that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So I feel like as a teacher, my students have to attract me, as far as like where I'm at working with my energy, as far as dealing with this. So I don't want to have a place to where I'm attracting them. If I open a school and set up a physical building, then guess what? I'm trying to attract them to me. And I'm looking at it more like teaching astrology like this is commerce or something. I have other business dealings and things in commerce that I deal with, so I don't really have to worry about setting up a physical school or a physical location. This is sacred knowledge, man. Like, and this world isn't ready for it. You get attacked in dealing with astrology. There's initiations that people have to go through to be an astrologer. It's the same way, just like, say, for instance, a person wants to be a recording artist. You want to be a recording artist, you got to go through certain initiations, right? You got to be tested in certain ways. So you don't just open up a school and just invite people in like that. When they talk about the mystery schools, they will say, well, a lot of people may think about the mystery schools and say, well, the mystery schools, I mean, that was a place you can go to. Nah, the mystery school was in the workshop of the mind. The pyramids, I mean, of course they had places where they taught people, and the pyramids had chambers where they taught people, but that's not what the pyramids were dedicated to. They weren't just mystery schools. So when the Greeks and stuff like that, when they came to learn from the Egyptians, they went into, like, they first had to start off on the outside, on the outer circle, in the outer courts. Then they were invited in once they learned more and began to learn more about sacred geometry, which is a part of astrology, learning how to build in relationship to astrological energies, learning how to build your home so it will line up with certain star constellations, learning where you should live at, as your body is a building or a temple, learning where you should live at so that it will line up with certain astrological energy. So this is true astrology, and this is what's taught. And if you would say the school or the workshop of the mind, the school of astrology, but this isn't for the public school system, in my opinion. Like, this is not for that. So even being on YouTube, you attract people to your channel. I mean, I don't put out my videos. I mean, I did at one point, but I don't put out my videos like all over the place. And every blue moon, if I have a message, I may do that, but not my real esoteric videos. Maybe if it's more like a secular message or something like that, I may tweet that out here and there. But people, you attract people to you with this particular science. So I hope that answers your question, particular person that asked me that. Again, I will be coming out with some more videos to teach you guys, like, people that are really into astrology already, how to use this science to make it work for you so you can manifest more for yourself. Because that's what I'm all about. And so I just want to see us become better people and to live a better life. And then I feel like society will be more so ready to accept astrology more so, I guess, as a doctrine, as a universal science, to where it's taught at universities and things of that nature. But right now, it's just all about getting people to start their own businesses and to thrive and to become who they are supposed to be. And there's ways to use this astrology to get anything you want in this world, whether it's a relationship, money, just a better spirit, you want better health. Astrology works for all of that, mind, body, and soul. So that's what I'll be on in the upcoming days. So I'll go ahead and shut down. Hope that answers your question to the particular student. I thank you for listening. I thank you for watching. And as always, Hotep, Namaste. Peace.